Okay. Hello, everyone. Uh, this has been a long time coming. Welcome to the new Synthesizer V Studio um, tutorial. I've been talking about this on and off in like friend circles, but yeah, finally gonna do it. So this episode is gonna be long. I realized that I left a lot of holes and explanations out of the first tutorial, and we're gonna cover all of that. So, step one: getting the program. So, I have the professional edition, which is kind of expensive. Not a lot of people can afford it, but the basic version is free. So the basic version has up to 3 tracks plus an instrument, or up to 3 tracks including instrumentals. So you can have instrumentals and 2 vocals, or 3 vocals. Now, this doesn't mean that you can't finish a cover this way. It just means that you have to do, if you're going to use more than 2 vocal tracks plus an instrumental, you have to make a second SVP file for the extra vocal tracks. It's not that hard, and it's actually not much of a hindrance at all. Other than this, it does limit you in that you cannot use the scripting engine, but I haven't found a single use for that, so. Alright, so to download it, you have these 3 buttons for whatever system you have, and then something that a lot of people are always confused about is where do I get the voices? This little button down here that says download light version voices. This takes you to a download hub where you can download the free light versions of quite a few of the voices, including Rika and the AI voices. But yeah, this is where you get them. So once you download that and you install the program, um, we get to this. So this is your editor. Close these. Okay. So once you're here, you can mess around. Put a note. So also Synth Studio has a unique feature in that it will play a note if there's no voice, but it'll just play a note. But say if we put Rika, that has to load. It'll actually like do the voice. So we're just gonna delete that track because we just want the 1 vocal track for now. So to go over a few things, this here is your timing right here. These 2 sets of numbers, 4/4. This is your time signature, and then this is your tempo. And you access these by double clicking. And you can set new tempos by double clicking anywhere on this nav bar here. And up here as well. So this is up here. This is your arrangement. So you can also delete them by right clicking. But up here is your arrangement. And this shows you like kind of the roadmap of everything you do. So say if we add some new tracks, track 1's going to appear blue, track 2 is going to appear green, track 3 is going to appear red. So that's that. And you can switch between by clicking. And to use a voice, you click here. Also, to install a voice, you simply drag the SV package, which is the file format. You drag that file into this window, and then that'll start the setup process. And as you can see, I have a lot of voices over here. There's a nifty, super convenient check for updates button. So if a tweet is released, then you can literally just click this button. You don't need to download anything new. It'll just download the update for you right then and there through the client, which was really nice because you no longer have to like open a new window and track down the file. It just does it for you. So other basic features. Note properties is now just a panel, and it lights up when you have a note selected, and then you can like change stuff like depth and yeah. You can do all that, and then there's phonemes and stuff. I've already gone over all that, but we will get to that in a bit. Voice properties. So you can also select your voice from here. And then we have the same parameters. Tone shift is only for the AI voices, so we're not going to go over that, at least not in this episode. Synthesis engine, again, is just for the AI voices. And then we have the defaults for pitch and vibrato, which you can change between notes here. But when you do it on the voice panel, it changes it for the entire track. So say I want all of my notes to have a 1.71 lead in, and they'll all do that. Now, whether or not that's actually a good thing, that's up to you as the producer. That's up to you of what you want to do with these. I generally leave this alone, but I do mess with this quite a lot. I usually drag depth of vibrato down to about a 6 and frequency up to about a 6. And then this I adjust based on the song. And then I also adjust it based off the note as well. I'm getting ahead of myself though. Okay. Library. So if you make a group of notes and then you right click them and do merge into group after selecting them all, you now have a library and you can copy paste that group anywhere. Now you can't edit the group once it's in place. You can only move and edit them together. And then you can manage your groups here. Dictionary. Dictionary is very on case by case basis. So if your synthesis is pronouncing a word incorrectly, which happens most often with Eleanor, you can actually put in a word here and then put phonemes down here for how you want her to pronounce it. So if I grab Eleanor, if you use I'm without the apostrophe and without capitalizing the I, it says I am instead of I'm. So I have a correction for that in my dictionary. Everything else, again, is just kind of case-by-case basis. So, after that, we have the rendering, which is just a fancier, more updated export window. So here is where you can export your SVP into .wav files, just like the old one. Except this time, you can actually select which ones to export. and you can change the properties as well. So you can make it a stereo. I like to go with stereo 32-bit and 96,000 hertz. I don't generally mess with aspiration. I don't really feel the need to. But everything else I kind of do mess with. And then you can like set destination folder and file name and all the good stuff. And then again, here's your like update and what you have installed window. And this is also where you activate your voices. So say you buy Saki and then you download Saki Lite, or you download the Saki file and then you put it in here. To activate it, you can either put in the code as it's installing or come in here and then click the activate button. Mine says deactivate because I have a registered voice. Here you can change some pretty cool settings, actually. So interface language. Audio, I have this set up the way that I like it. Image transparency, you saw when I did Saki, there was a big S, Enrica and Eleanor, that showed their character images. These, it's just normal movement stuff. We have engine sample rate, which I keep at 96 kHz because that's just its highest quality, and max performance because I have a pretty good processor and it can handle that. But yeah, that's all the options for you. Up here, hold on. Let's get really quickly a display capture going for this, just so that you guys can see like the windows as I pull them up. So we have file, which is like your project management stuff, like opening and saving. You can also import MIDI and UST. Also VSQX. We have edit, basic stuff. View. We have snapping now, so we can actually change where the notes will snap on this board. And we can even make it so that it doesn't at all. And you can do that with the stuff up here too. Because when you put in an instrumental track, you can like slide it around. And with this, you can slide it around in increments or free float, which I do free floating. Other than that, we just have like direct pitch editing. So line and pencil. So down here, we have all this stuff. We have double clicks and all this. I like to keep it on the waveform because it bends it in a nice kind of semi-natural way as you add more anchor points. That just like helps me keep it organized, and using the freehand tool creates this mess of points, so I don't like doing that. It was kind of a necessity in the old version because they didn't have this kind of node placement option. So going back up here, and we also have like the regular parameters and stuff. But going back up here, so to add in a note, you can either double click and then drag, or you can use the right tool, the pencil, and you can just click and drag. And then this is for pitch. So clicking these little labels will swap your mode on either one. And if you want to do not a node kind of selection for this, you can. And it'll be a little weird for vibrato stuff, as you can see, because that changes where that note will sit at that particular point of the line. So when it's at like neutral, then if I put a point here, if I make neutral at the highest point of the vibrato at center C, it gets all messed up. So then you can also do the write-in tool and just do it yourself. These are interesting. So these 4 options give you information on the note. So as you can see right now, this is how it looks in kind of the original. That shows you the line of where the note is going to go. So this is exactly what it would look like in the Gen 1 editor. And then if we add this shows where the note is actually going, this blue line. So if I were to do this, since it is just the default tone, it'll follow the line perfectly. But if I were to put, say, Rika, get rid of all the nonsense. So see that? It deviates here because it's the end of the note. Go back to how it was. But yeah, so that's that. And then this is the waveform of the note, and this will show you the syllables that it's going to pronounce. So these 2 are actually, I would say, the more important ones, because this shows you where it's saying the word and how it's saying the word. So if you notice like a blank spot in this, you can address it and kind of fix it before it becomes a problem. So moving on, we have modify. So we can reset phonetics on a note and insert lyrics and all the other old stuff. Other than that, we just have like simplify parameters, which just smooths out your lines. Auto pitch tuning is a little janky at the moment. It can produce some pretty good stuff, but I generally don't mess with it. We have snap to grid. And then these are new. And the grouping stuff, but we've already shown that off a little bit. So say I want to take this note and I want to transpose it up like 3 halftones. There it goes. You can move it down an octave, move it up an octave. It's pretty cool. Project, this is your tracks. So you can like check your stuff, go to groups. Transport, just kind of playback stuff. Scripts, these are very interesting. Scripts are something you can only do with the pro version. And then the miscellaneous is just help and stuff. Neural networks performance tuner. This is very interesting. This will actually like benchmark your system for using the artificial intelligence voices, which I have both of, Koharu Rika and Saki AI. Okay, so now that we're done with the basics and how everything like kind of works together, let's kind of see an example. We're gonna go back to just the window here because I don't want to spoil any future projects. So let's go with what I just posted. The Saki First song that I just posted on the channel. So you can see how I have used the parameters and note properties to kind of change this the way that I wanted it to. So here we have a little up that's done with the depth right here, set at negative 3.4, and the offset. So without that offset, it would just look like that. But with the offset, it's over here where the M is, so it sounds nice. Let's turn that down for you guys. Try that again. That's too soft. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, that's how that works. I'm getting a little off track. And then you can also see here the blue line deviates. That's just the natural pronunciation kind of deviations that she does. And it happens all over the place. Almost never do you see these transitions actually match up with the line when you're transferring to a different syllable. So other than that, we have the kind of parameters. I kept tension and breathiness at a 0 throughout this whole thing, and then when we get to the pre-chorus is when it kind of ramps up. So you can see how that affects it. Just a bunch of stuff. So you can see how some of these things kind of fit together and how you can kind of have some fun with it. And then these are done with the draw tool, because I like using that sometimes over the pitch editing on just the note, because it does give me a little more control over what happens. And it also allows you to see this little blue line here, right here. If you change that to like this, it'll actually change the lead-in of the note. It's not noticeable here because it's an N, but yeah. So that's about it for the absolute basics. And I think that'll do it for our first episode of the new tutorial. So thank you guys for watching. I hope this cleared up some of the questions that some of you may have had in the past about these. I'm sorry that I wasn't clearer on my first set of tutorials, but now with this new engine and now that it's where I like it, because it took a couple updates for it to fix a few of the bugs that I was kind of having issues with. But now that they're gone, I feel like I can make a new tutorial series. And yeah. So once again, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope that at least some of you found this helpful. And next tutorial, we're going to be talking about harmonies and, well, not harmonies, but editing stuff and putting notes down. So I'll see you guys next episode, and I hope you have a good day.